Last quarter, Concrete 1. Construction crews pouring foundations for server rooms added more to America's GDP than you did. Not you specifically, you and everyone you know combined. 200 million ordinary Americans spending money on rent and groceries and gas and insurance and all the things that are supposed to keep an economy running, and their combined push on economic growth was almost matched by buildings going up in Virginia and Texas. I did not make that up. The Bureau of Economic Analysis publishes the breakdown in Q2 of 2025. When GDP came in at 3.8% annualized growth, personal consumption added just 1.68 percentage points to that number. Non-residential fixed investment, a category dominated right now by data center construction, added 0.98 points on its own. Structures, equipment, intellectual property, one sector, not even the whole investment line, nearly matched what every household in the country put in, and net imports flattered the headline by another 4.83 points. Strip that trade math away, and the growth you actually generated was thin. The headline said the economy was growing. The fine print said it was growing around you, not because of you, so ask yourself which side of that line you are standing on. But it gets stranger. Those data centers need electricity, a lot of it. The Department of Energy estimated they consumed about 4.4% of all U.S. electricity in 2023. That is projected to reach somewhere between 6.7 and 12% by 2028. That demand does not come from nowhere. It comes from the grid, your grid in Virginia, where a massive concentration of these facilities exists. Wholesale electricity costs have surged as much as 267% over 5 years, according to Bloomberg. Residential customers, families, retirees, people working from home, saw their bills climb because the infrastructure needed to power these data centers gets funded, in part, by everyone on the grid. Virginia legislators introduced Senate Bill 253 in early 2026, proposing that data centers pay roughly 15.8% more so that residential customers could see a 3.4% reduction. About $5.50 a month off their bills. That is the fix on the table. $5.50 a month. And that is not even the part that should worry you. So here is what is actually happening. The most profitable companies on earth are building facilities that generate economic growth the government can point to and say, look, things are going well. The electricity those facilities need is raising your power bill. And the economic growth they produce goes into a GDP number that has almost nothing to do with whether you can afford your groceries this week. Food prices are up over 30% since 2019. The average credit card rate is above 20%. Household debt just hit $18.8 trillion. The economy is growing, just not the part you live in. Somebody showed me a stat a few weeks ago that made this click. The top 10% of earners now account for roughly half of all consumer spending in America, according to Moody's Analytics. You can argue about the exact number. Some economists put it lower, but nobody argues the direction. A smaller group is doing a bigger share of the spending, and the rest of us are becoming, economically speaking, optional. Not in some dramatic, movie villain way, in a quiet, spreadsheet way, in a way where the numbers just stop including you. You want to know the detail that will not leave my head. Even Walmart, the company built on everyday low prices for everyday Americans, reported that 75% of its recent market share gains came from households making over $100,000 a year. They are adding premium brands, redesigning for wealthier shoppers. The store that was supposed to be for you is pivoting away from you. That is not inequality. Inequality means some people have more. This is something else. This is the system quietly deciding it does not need you to function. I do not have a fix for that, but I do have a question. Open your bank app tonight. Look at the last 90 days, tag every transaction as survive, choose, or autopilot. That autopilot number, the subscriptions, the memberships, the charges you forgot existed, that is what the system skims off you without asking. That is your starting point. Drop the number in the comments. No explanation, just the number. Because the concrete is still being poured. The question is whether anything in your account is being built for you.